What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 18 of the Nati Pod. I'm your host, Ryan Townsend. Thanks again for joining me today as I look to preview this upcoming matchup between the Bengals and the Cowboys this Sunday at Paul Brown Stadium. Big game for both teams, I would say. And I'm looking forward to this game for two reasons. Number one, Andy Dalton makes his return to Cincinnati. I didn't anticipate him playing much this year for the Cowboys. I don't think anyone anticipated the Dak Prescott injury that happened. And I really am looking forward to seeing how he does against his former team, what the welcome is going to be like from the 12,000 fans there at Cincinnati, and just how he performs overall. I think that it would have been an intriguing matchup if Joe Burrow was still healthy and we were having Burrow versus Dalton. I think it would have been cool for the fans to see, the former guy and our new guy. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to watching Andy play at Paul Brown again, and I'm just looking forward to seeing him, play football against his former team. So I'm looking forward to seeing that on Sunday. The number two reason I'm looking forward to this game is, well, you can really split it up into two reasons and really one. And that is, this is the last winnable game, in my opinion, on the schedule for the Bengals. And number two, this is huge in draft position. So right now, the Bengals sit at 2-9-1, and the Cowboys sit at 3-9, I believe. I think that's how it looks right now. If the Bengals were to win this game on Sunday, that would push us to 3-9-1, and that would put the Cowboys at 3-10, which would put them into the 3 spot and us into the 4 spot. Now, I'm not saying that the Cowboys are going to go after Sewell from Oregon, the left tackle that we all want, but if we're not picking at 3 and the Cowboys don't want him, I don't know how comfortable I am with teams trading up to get him at 3 because they know we're going to want him if we're sitting there at 4. So regardless if you're still rooting for the Bengals to win like I am, or like if you don't care if they win or lose, we're just looking at draft position. This is a huge game for us in the draft position going into the 2021 NFL Draft. And this is a huge game just in the sense that it's probably our last winnable game of the season. With the Steelers coming up next week on Monday Night Football, we travel to Houston, and then we close out the season with the Ravens at home coming up in January. So this is the last winnable game for the Bengals. We'll see what they can do. And I think also, too, picking it back up here, it's also a big game for Zach Taylor because in the sense, too, you understand that, the Steelers and the Texans and the Ravens, we're probably marking those down as L's right now. I'm not going to lie to you. We're marking those down as L's. Steelers might be a blowout again. I don't know how the Ravens are going to fare. They're starting to fall off a little bit right there off the train tracks. Houston's looking on the come up a little bit. But if Zach Taylor is at all worried about his job for next year, or Mike Brown's told him, there's pressure on you to win, I think this is the game that Zach Taylor's got to win. And I remember Jamal McKinney from the Juice Alert tweeted at me this week, and he said the exact same thing. This is a huge game for Coach Taylor. Because if he can win this game, it's like, okay, well, he can win without Joe Burrow. The Cowboys aren't that great, but at the same time, when you have a winnable game on your schedule, no matter who you play, you got to show something, and you've got to be able to try and win that game here. So I think this is also a big game for Zach Taylor in that sense too, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he comes prepared, how the team comes prepared, and overall just how the game's going to go. So diving into it here, we're going to look at the injury report first for both teams. For the Cowboys this week, they look to have 3 questionable guys for the game on Sunday. Running back Ezekiel Elliott with a calf injury, cornerback Antonio Brown with a rib injury, and safety Donovan Wilson with a groin injury. All 3 of those players are questionable for this week. And offensive tackle Cameron Irving has been declared out with a knee injury, and he's been placed on IR for the Cowboys. I'm not sure how much Irving has played this year, but I know just in the sense of, they had Tyron Smith out this year. They had Lael Collins out this year. They've been mixing around Zach Martin here and Diaz from Wisconsin last year in the draft. They've been mixing around guys, and their offensive line has been struggled with injuries. So I think this is huge for them coming, having this tackle, whether he was going to play or not, or you never know who's going to get hurt in Sunday's game, but just having another tackle like that out for him on the offensive line, I think will prove costly for him in the long run. But we'll see. I'm not too sure on how Irvin's been doing or what he's been doing for the team so far this year. But picking it back up here to the Bengals, speaking of another offensive lineman, we placed Jonah Williams on IR with a knee injury. Look for Akeem Adeniji to start this week at left tackle. I'm not sure if we will see Jonah again in 2020. I know Zach Taylor said, it's possible we'll see him in Week 17. At the same time, though, he said, with the rehab that we're going to do in the offseason, he's not going to have any, how do I want to say this? He's not going to have any roadblocks to go through. So, in my opinion, I'd probably just sit him out the rest of the year. We're out of playoff contention. We're not really fighting for anything at this point. So, I think it's best for him to sit out the rest of the season. But you never know. We might see him in Week 17. But like I said, Akeem Adeniji will probably be the starting left tackle this week. With the questionable guys that I've seen, Mackenzie Alexander, our nickel corner, wide receiver T. Higgins, and safety Brandon Wilson are all questionable this week to play. Alexander is working through a knee injury. T. Higgins is working through a hamstring injury. And also Brandon Wilson is working through a hamstring injury. So 3 key guys for us on Sunday that give us a chance to win in this game. We'll see what they do in warm-ups. We'll see what the report comes out on Sunday. And we'll see if they end up playing this week against the Cowboys. So moving it over here, looking into the preview a little bit. So how I usually do this is, like you guys have seen before, how are the Cowboys going to fare on offense? What do the Bengals have to do to stop them on defense, and vice versa, the Bengals offense, Cowboys defense. So we're going to start here with the Cowboys offense. Looking at the offensive rankings for the Dallas Cowboys, they are 3rd in the NFL in passing offense, and they are 17th in rushing offense. What that tells me this week is that Andy Dalton is going to look to chuck the ball against us, and he's looking to mix in Zeke here and there. I've seen the last couple games, I got Zeke on my fantasy team, and the last couple games, he really hasn't had a sufficient running attack. It's been mainly on Dalton or DiNucci or Gilbert, whoever's playing. They're looking to throw the ball a little bit. They've got Cooper on the outside with Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and all those guys, with Schultz at tight end as well. So I think they're going to be looking to throw the ball on offense against us, which brings me to the next point here with the Bengals defense. They rank 25th in passing, and they rank 29th in rushing. So the key for the Bengals defense this week is we've got to pressure Dalton. Okay, Andy Dalton's been one of those guys where in the years that I've seen him with the Bengals, if there's pressure around him, he might look to scramble here and there, but he's one of those guys that will hold on to the ball for too long. He's trying to go through his progressions. Overall, he's going to take a sack. And I know that's kind of hard with the Bengals this year, but I think with the offensive line that the Cowboys are going to put up against us on Sunday, we're going to have more of a chance to really rush the passer and really going to have a chance to sack Dalton this Sunday. But like I said, you got to get pressure on Dalton. And the big thing, too, is I need, well, not me really, but the Bengals really need William Jackson III to have another big game. I thought he played great against Devontae Parker last week against Miami. And if we want a chance to do well on defense and limit the Cowboys' passing attack, like I said, which is 3rd in the NFL right now, William Jackson III has to have a big game against Amari Cooper. If we can neutralize Amari Cooper and take him out of the equation, just having Zeke and, Gallup and CD, they've been doing okay, but they're nothing like Amari, and obviously. But if you take out that one weapon and William Jackson has a good game, I think that's going to help us overall on the defensive side of things. Picking it back up here to the Bengals here on the offensive side. So coming into this game this week, we rank 17th in passing offense, and we rank 30th in rushing offense. With the Cowboys defense, however, they rank 6th in the passing attack, holding the limiting teams in the passing attack. They're 6th in the NFL. And I didn't know this coming in, but I could have guessed it after watching the Thanksgiving game. The run defense is dead last in the NFL. So the key for the Bengals offense this week, we've got to get the run game going with Giovanni Bernard or Samaje Perine. And we have to take the pressure off Brandon Allen. Because the last 2 weeks, yes, we haven't had over 200 yards of offense. But I think at the same time, too, we haven't had a ground game. I don't care who you're playing at quarterback. Obviously, Joe Burrow was different. We were passing, run here and there. But with Brandon Allen, at least, you have to take pressure off Brandon Allen this week. And you really have to get the run game going. That way, there's even some windows for him to get a passing game going. Because if teams know that Brandon Allen's just going to pass, they're going to blitz us all day. It's going to be like the Baltimore game against Joe Burrow. We didn't have a running game, and it was literally just blitz, 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 blitz. You got to take the pressure off Allen this week against a team who is dead last in the NFL in rushing defense. If I'm Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan this week, I am looking to run the ball heavy this week. And for the Cowboys on defense here, you've got to pressure Allen. And like I just said with the Bengals offense, you've got to be able to stop the run. If Giovanni Bernard and Samaje Perine can get a run game going and we can take the pressure off Allen, I think it's going to hurt the Cowboys this week. But at the same time, Allen has been one of those guys who's been getting pressure in his face the last couple of weeks. So if we can't protect him this week, whether we get a run game going or not, if we don't have a complement to the run game or the passing game, it's going to hurt us this week. But those are the keys to the game for both teams. I'm looking forward to see how it plays out this week. If Mike McCarthy tries to switch up the game plan or Zach Taylor doesn't want to run the ball for whatever reason this week. I don't know why he wouldn't want to do that, but hey, I've seen a lot of surprises with Zach Taylor this year. So you never know what could happen. We'll just see what happens come Sunday. But moving it on here to my prediction for the game. So right now, the Cowboys are a 3-point favorite coming into Paul Brown Stadium, and I'm calling the upset. Little more of the positivity factor here, and I'm seeing a winnable game for the Bengals here in their last fourth quarter of the schedule this year. But I got the upset. I'm picking the Bengals in this game, 22-20 over the Cowboys. I really see this as a close game. It's going to be competitive. You know, not like Miami in the second half where you knew the game was out of reach. I'm sort of seeing a little mixture of the Giants game. I thought we were competitive in the second half against the Giants. You know, after that kick return, we really didn't get much going on offense, but I thought we were competitive at least. I expect this game to be a competitive game throughout the entire time. You know, we've seen Dalton play football, and we've seen Brandon Allen play football. Not saying those two guys are the best quarterbacks, but at the same time, those two competitors, and I really see a competitive game this week. But at the end of the day, I'm picking the Bengals. We got the Bengals 22 and the Cowboys 20 for this week. Last segment here. A little interesting bold predictions for the week. Like I said, we go one offense and one defense. For the offense, Brandon Allen is going to pass for over 200 yards. Now, talking about that, I was trying to think of something for the offense, you know, because we really haven't gotten a run game going. And, you know, Brandon Allen's been struggling. The line is banged up. So I'm like, you know what? Looking on it, if we can get a run game going, I think it's going to open windows for Brandon Allen, and he's going to have over 200 yards passing. I know that's really like a bad bold prediction. Like, wow, you're guessing a guy to throw for 200 yards. That's your bold prediction. Well, in the last two games, the Bengals, with him at quarterback, have had 155 yards total offense and 196 yards total offense. So if he passes for over 200 yards just by himself without a run game, that eclipses our offensive numbers the last 2 weeks, which is honestly laughable. But when we've got something going like the Bengals do and you're just at the bottom here, you got to come up with something. So I got Brandon Allen passing for over 200 yards this week as one of my bold predictions. And the second bold prediction here for the defense, which is going to end up how my score is with 22-20. The Bengals are going to sack Andy Dalton for a safety on Sunday. Like I said previously in the podcast, Andy Dalton has been one of those guys that I've seen in the last couple of years. He always likes to go through his reads, but when he's getting pressure on him, he doesn't run away. He doesn't throw it away. He doesn't try and scramble. He stays in there longer than he needs to. He holds the ball, and he takes sacks. That's just how he does. I saw it last week against the Ravens a couple times. He did try to scramble from what I saw a little bit, but at the same time, you can still see that he's still holding on to the ball. So if we're going to get pressure on him this week, and I expect Kevin Huber to have a big day. Obviously, I see Kevin Huber probably punting 4 or 5 times this week. I see him putting us in good field position on defense, and if we get those guys back there for the Cowboys, I see a Bengals sack against Andy Dalton, and I see a safety, which is going to bring the final score to Bengals 22 and Cowboys 20. So those are the bold predictions for the week. Brandon Allen passes for over 200 yards, and the Bengals get a sack on Andy Dalton for a safety on Sunday. So that's going to do it for us today on the Nati Pod. Thanks for everyone for tuning in this week. Make sure to tune into the game tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Bengals play the Cowboys at Paul Brown Stadium. Looking forward to it. Andy Dalton makes his return to Cincinnati. The Sing for Sewell continues. We'll see how the outcome of this game goes. Tune in for more content this week. One of my former baseball coaches, Matt Roberts, Bengals diehard, joins me on the post pod tomorrow after the game. And then we'll get into the preview pod this week with the Steelers' upcoming matchup on Monday Night Football. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the weekend. Who day?